Al-Qur'an, Chapter 12. Alif, Lam, Ra. These are the verses of the clear book. We have sent it down as an Arabic Quran so that you may understand. We narrate to you the best of stories by what we have revealed to you this Quran, though before it you were among the heedless. When Joseph said to his father, "O my father, I saw 11 stars and the sun and the moon. I saw them prostrating themselves to me." He said, "My son, do not narrate your visions to your brothers, lest they plot against you. For Satan is an open enemy to man. Thus, your Lord will choose you and teach you the interpretation of dreams, and complete his favor upon you and upon the family of Jacob, just as he completed it upon your parents before, Abraham and Isaac. Indeed, your Lord is knowing, wise." There were signs in Joseph and his brothers for the seekers. When they said, "Joseph and his brother are dearer to our father than us, and we are so many. Indeed, our father is in manifest terror. Kill Joseph or expel him to a land so that the face of your father will be free for you, and you will be a righteous people after him." One of them said, "Do not kill Joseph and throw him into the depths of the well. Some of the caravans will pick him up if you want to do so." They said, "O our father, what is the matter with you that you do not entrust us with Joseph, and we are his sincere advisers? Send him with us tomorrow to dine and play, and we will protect him." He said, "It saddens me that you take him away, and I fear that the wolf will eat him while you are heedless of him." They said, "If the wolf eats it and we are strong, then we are losers." So when they took him away, they agreed to put him in the depths of the pit, and we revealed to him that you will inform them of this matter of theirs while they were unaware. And they came to their father for dinner crying. They said, "O our father, we went racing and left Joseph with our belongings, and the wolf ate him, and you would not be a believer in us even if we were truthful." And they came on his shirt with lying blood. He said, "Nay, you have tempted yourself in this matter. So patience is beautiful, and God is the helper for what you describe." And a caravan came, so they sent their courier, and he dropped his bucket. He said, "Oh, good news, this is a boy," and they captured him as merchandise. And God is all-knowing of what they do. And they sold him for a few dirhams, and they were apathetic. And the one who bought him in Egypt said to his wife, "Honor his abode, perhaps he will be useful to us, or we may adopt him as a son." Thus we established Joseph in the land, and that we might teach him the interpretation of dreams. And God is supreme over his affairs, but most people do not know. And when he reached his maturity, we gave him wisdom and knowledge, and so do we recompense the doers of good. And the woman in whose house he was in sought himself, and the doors were closed, and she said, "Come close." He said, "God forbid. Indeed, my Lord has given me the best of my abode. The wrongdoers will not succeed." And she had desired him, and he had desired her, had he not seen the proof of his Lord. In this way, we turned away evil and indecency from him, for he is one of our faithful servants. They ran to the door, and she tore his shirt from his backside and met her master, who was at the door. She said, "What is the recompense of he who intends evil for your family, except that he be imprisoned or a painful punishment?" He said, "She asked me for herself." And a witness from her family testified that if his shirt was torn from front, then she told the truth, and he is one of the liars. And if his shirt is torn from behind, then you have lied, and he is of the truthful. When he saw that his shirt had fallen from the backside, he said, "It is part of your scheming. Your scheming is great. Joseph, turn away from this. And you seek forgiveness for your sin, for you were of the wrongdoers." And women in Medina said, The wife of the dear one is seeking a young man for herself. She has lusted after him for love. Indeed, we see her in clear error. When she heard of their cunning, she sent for them and prepared a tool for them, and brought for each one of them a knife, and said, Go out on them. When they saw him, they exalted him and cut their hands, saying, God forbid, this is not a human being, this is nothing but a generous king. She said, That is the one for whom you blamed me, and I persuaded him for myself, but he held fast. And if he refuses my command, he will surely be imprisoned, and he will be among the despised. He said, My lord, prison is dearer to me than what they call me to, and if you do not turn away from me their scheming, I will fall for them and be of the ignorant. So his lord responded to him and diverted their plot from him. Indeed, he is the hearing, the knowing. Then it seemed to them, after they had seen the signs, to imprison him for a while. And two boys entered the prison with him. One of them said, I saw me pressing wine. And the other said, I saw me carrying bread on my head and the birds eating from it. Will you inform us of its interpretation? We see you among the doers of good. He said, The food with which you are provided will not come to you, but that I inform you of its interpretation before it comes to you. Indeed, I have left the religion of a people who do not believe in God, and they are disbelievers in the hereafter. And I followed the religion of my forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It was not for us to associate anything with God. That is from God's grace upon us and upon people, but most people do not give thanks. O my friend of the prison, is the God divided better, or the God one almighty? What you worship without him are only names that you and your fathers have named. God did not send down any authority for it. The judgment is only for God. He commanded that you worship none but him. That is the upright religion, but most people do not know. O my friends of the prison, as for one of you, he will make his master drink wine. And as for the other, he will be crucified, and the birds will eat from his head. It has been decided for the matter in which you are questioning. And he said to the one whom he thought would survive from both of them, Mention me in the presence of your master. But Satan made him forget about remembering in presence of his master, so he remained in prison for a few years. And the king said, I see 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 lean ones, 7 green ears of corn, and another dry one. O public, advise me in my vision if you interpret the vision. They said, Confused vision, and we do not interpret dreams of 2 worlds. And he who survived from the 2 of them remembered, and after a nation he said, I will inform you of its interpretation. So send. Joseph, O friend, give us advice about 7 fat cows that 7 lean ones ate, and green ears of corn and another dry one, so that I may go back to the people and they may know. He said, You sow for 7 years diligently, and whatever you reap, leave it in its ear, except for a little that which you will eat. Then there will come after that 7 hardships, who will eat what you have provided for them, except a little of what you store. Then a year will come after that in which people will be given relief and in which they will press. And the king said, Bring him to me. When the courier came to him, he said, Go back to your lord and ask what is wrong with the women who cut their hands. Indeed, my lord is all-knowing of their plot. He said, What is wrong with you when you persuaded Joseph about enjoying him? They said, God forbid, what evil we know of him. The wife of the minister said, Now the truth has come to pass. I persuaded him about enjoying him, and he is of the truthful. That is, so that he knows that I did not betray him unseen, and that God does not guide the plot of the traitors. And I do not acquit myself as the soul is inclined to evil, except that my Lord has mercy. Indeed, my Lord is forgiving, merciful. And the king said, Bring him to me, and I will appoint him for myself. When he spoke to him, he said, Today you are established and trustworthy with us. He said, Put me over the treasuries of the earth. I am a knowledgeable custodian. Likewise, we established Joseph in the land to settle therein wherever he pleased. We do not waste the reward of the benefactors. And the reward of the hereafter is better for those who believed and were God fearing. And Joseph's brothers came and entered upon him. So he recognized them while they did not recognize him. And when he equipped them with their provisions, he said, "Bring me a brother of yours from your father. Don't you see that I give full measure, and I am the best of hosts? If you do not bring him to me, you have no measure from me, and do not approach me." They said, "We will entice him from his father, and we will do our best." And he said to his boys, "Put their merchandise in their saddlebags, so that they may recognize it when they return from their families, to ensure that they will return." When they returned to their father, they said, "O our father, we have been prevented from having our measure. So send with us our brother, so that we may gather and we will protect him." He said, "Shall I trust you with him just as I trusted you with his brother before? God is the best guardian, and he is the most merciful of those who show mercy." And when they opened their baggage, they found that their goods had been returned to them. They said, "O our father, what more do we need? This is our merchandise returned to us, and we will pass this on to our people, protect our brother, and increase the weight of a camel. This is an easy gain." He said, "I will not send him with you until you are given a covenant from God that you will bring him to me unless you are surrounded." Then, when they gave him their covenant, he said, "God is the guardian of what we say." And he said, "My son, do not enter from one gate, but enter from separate gates. And I can't help you with anything from God. Judgment is only for God. In him I trust, and so let the trustworthy rely." And when they entered as their father commanded them, nothing was of any avail to them from God except a need in the soul of Jacob that he fulfilled. And he has knowledge of what we taught him, but most people do not know. And when they presented them to Joseph, he took his brother to him. He said, "I am your brother, so do not grieve over what they did." When he equipped them with their equipment, he placed his cup in his brother's saddle, and then a herald called, "O caravan, you are indeed thieves." They said as they approached them, "What did you lose?" They said, "We have lost the measuring cup of the king, and whoever brings it will get a camel's burden, and I have pledged in it." They said, "By God, you know that we did not come to spread corruption in the land, and we are not thieves." They said, "What is the recompense if you are liars?" They said, "The recompense is that the one in whose saddle it is found is his, as a recompense. Thus do we punish the wrongdoers." So he started with their containers before his brother's container. Then he extracted it from his brother's container. Thus we arranged for Joseph, as he would not take his brother in the king's debt, unless God wills. We raise the degrees of whomever we will, and above every possessor of knowledge is the all-knowing. They said that if he steals, a brother of his stole before. So Joseph captured it in himself, and he did not reveal it to them. He said, "You are in the worst condition, and God knows best what you describe." They said, "O dear one, he has a very old father, so take one of us in his place, for we see you among the doers of good." He said, "God forbid that we should take only those with whom we found our belongings. Then we are unjust." So, when they lost all hope for him, they talked privately. The eldest of them said, "Did you not know that your father had taken a covenant from God upon you? And before that you neglected Joseph. I will not leave the earth until my father gives me permission, or God judges for me, and he is the best of judges. Go back to your father and say, 'O our father, your son stole, and we have only witnessed what we know, and we are not guardians of the unseen. And ask the town in which we were and the caravan in which we came, and we are truthful.'" He said, "Rather, you have a matter to yourselves, so be patient. May God bring them back to me. Indeed, he is the all-knowing, the wise." And he turned away from them and said, "Oh, I am sorry for Joseph." And his eyes turned white from grief, for he was repressive. They said, "By God, you will not stop remembering Joseph until you are dead." or you are among the doomed. He said, I only complain of my distress and grief to God, and I know from God what you do not know. O my sons, go and seek for Joseph and his brother, and do not despair on the mercy of God. Indeed, no one despairs on the mercy of God except the disbelieving people. When they entered upon him, they said, O dear one, harm has afflicted us and our family, and we have brought merchandise, so give us full measure and give alms to us. Indeed, God rewards those who give alms. He said, Do you know what you did to Joseph and his brother when you behaved ignorant? They said that you are Joseph. He said, I am Joseph. And this is my brother. God has bestowed upon us. That who fears and is patient, God does not waste the reward of the doers of good. They said, By God, God has preferred you over us. Indeed, we were wrong. He said, Do not rebuke you today. God will forgive you, and He is the most merciful of those who show mercy. Go with this shirt of mine and throw it over my father's face. He will become clear-sighted and bring all your family to me. And when the caravan had departed, their father said, I would have smelled Joseph had it not been for you to refute it. They said, By God, you are in your old misguidance. When the good news came, he threw it on his face and he regained his sight. He said, Did I not tell you that I know from God what you do not know? They said, O our father, ask forgiveness of our sins. We are sinful. He said, I will ask forgiveness from your Lord. He is the forgiving, the merciful. When they entered upon Joseph, he took his parents to him and said, Go into Egypt, God willing, in safety. And he raised his parents on the throne and fell prostrating before him and said, O Father, this is the interpretation of my dream from before. My Lord has made it true, and he has been good to me when he brought me out of prison and brought you from the Bedouin after Satan had striated between me and my brothers. Indeed, my Lord is kind to whatever he wills. Indeed, he is the all-knowing, the wise. My Lord, you have come to me from the kingdom and taught me from the interpretations of dreams. Creator of the heavens and the earth, you are my protector in this world and the hereafter. Make me die exclusively surrendered to you and join me with the righteous. That is from the news of the unseen which we reveal to you. And you were not with them when they agreed on their matter while they were plotting. And even if you were keen on it, how many people would believe? And you do not ask them for a reward for it. It is only a reminder to the worlds. How many signs in the heavens and earth do they pass by while they turn away from it? And most of them do not believe in God, except that they associate partners with Him. Are they secure that a veil of God's punishment will not come upon them? But the hour will come upon them suddenly while they are unaware. Say, This is my way. I invite to God with insight. I am, and whoever follows me. Glory be to God, and I am not of the ones associating partners with God. And we did not send before you except men to whom we revealed from the people of the towns. Did they not travel through the earth and see how was the end of those before them? And the abode of the hereafter is better for those who fear God. Do you not understand? Until when the messengers despaired and thought that they had been denied, our victory came to them, and whoever we wished was saved, and our punishment is not turned away from the criminal people. Indeed, in their stories, there was a lesson for those with understanding. It was not a fabricated story, but a confirmation of what is in His hands, an explanation of everything, and a guidance and a mercy for a people who believe.